Hi everyone, it's Anita Marshall here from Advanced Finance Solutions, and as you know, we're mortgage brokers and we specialise in residential loans. So we do have a lot of clients that like to buy land and build, and that can be a very, very overwhelming process for a lot of our clients and for us when things don't quite go to plan. So what I've done today is invited Kerri-Ann from Carnelian projects to join us so we can pick her brain all about the building process and find out everything that we need to know about building. So Kerri-Ann, hello.
Hi, Anita.
It's great to have you along. Thank you so much for joining us. And I thought we'd just start, if you could just do a quick introduction on what you do, and that way we have a little bit of background.
Yeah, sure. So I've had my business for 11 years. So I help people build their dreams, basically. So I help people if they want a house and land package or got a block of land, and I've got builders that I work with, and I'm with my clients all the way through with them every step of the way from beginning to handover. And I also give advice with my tender health checks on build contracts and tenders.
Yes, because we've probably got about half a dozen clients who are building on the go at the moment, and most of it's been quite smooth sailing, but we get the occasional one where there's a lot of extra costs involved that they weren't expecting. That's probably the most common problem that we have. So I've just had to completely redo a loan for a lovely, lovely client who's we're using the Newcastle Permanent for her. But with all those rises in the building costs, her contract had changed so much that we've had to do a new contract, new loan. It was very, very stressful for her. And luckily she qualified because, I could imagine that some people may not. And so what do you recommend people look for in the contracts? Because, you don't really want that happening.
Yeah, the most important thing is always refer to the contract. So you may have been told certain things by the salespeople in the display homes, but you always have to go back to your contract. A lot of the big builders who are offering the 50 to 60,000 cash back, they can't lose that on the home. So they are going to make that up during the build. So the big thing to look at is your special conditions in your contract, what is or isn't included. The big thing is with your peering, there also with your contract, you have different things listed, which is included or allowance or that. So things like peering for soil removal, soil import, rock, what happens when they hit rock. This is a big thing, particularly in Newcastle, because there's rock in every estate. So they probably will charge you extra for that. Also things like bushfire requirements, your land, every block nowadays has a bushfire rating. Is that included in your build contract? Basics, the heating and cooling of your home. The builder has to have a report. The builder has to be able to approve the plans with a basic certificate. Is everything included in those? So those are the big things to look out for in your contract.
And what about another thing that we see quite a bit of is where, someone will find their dream home and then they get the contract, they get all excited, or maybe they get the tender to start with. And then they go and they do their colour selection or their carpet and their lights. The next thing, price is completely different.
I know, and I just don't know how some of the big builders get away with it. But and also some of the big builders say they're fixed price. Well, there's no such thing nowadays as a fixed price, especially what happened with COVID, with all the material, increases, and there's still increases. Although I must admit, price increases are sort of leveling off a bit, not as bad as 2022. That is a big thing. Check how many downlights you have. Check, if a stone kitchen bench top is included, a stone bench top in your bathroom. Check your heights of your tiles. Check what sort of tiles. Are you getting a 40 by 40 tile, or are you just getting a 30 by 30? I mean, I like the 45 by 45 tiles. So I've even heard, if you want a silver shower frame, that's extra. I mean, check these things you need to be aware of and to ask before you sign on the dotted line, because yes, I know with some big builders, that's not how my builders operate, but some big display homes, as soon as you go into that color selection room, then you could be $10,000, $20,000 extra.
And sometimes those extras are quite unknown. So do you
Yeah.
have like a suggestion on how much people put aside? Like even when they've got their contract all sorted, if unknown things come up, do you suggest they allow, say, 10% of the price in extra cost, or is there some sort of recommendation that you have for that?
I recommend around 20,000, really,
Okay.
especially if your block of land is not registered, because most builders will have a little section in the contract saying subject to the final contour plan. A contour plan is where the builder surveyor comes out and looks at the land. I mean, the developer does supply contour plans, but there's a little caveat there saying, you know, these may be different once they've finished developing the land. So builders will always reference, if the land isn't registered, that it's all subject to final contour plan. So that's the slope of the land. You know, you could look at a block of land and think, oh, there's no slope on that, but there may be around about 500 millimeters to a meter of the slope on the block. So that can affect your building costs, because they may have to drop the house a little bit, drop the garage, so that the driveway is at the correct gradient that they need for council approval. So yeah, I'd say at least $20,000 extra if you can factor that in. And unfortunately, some people don't realise that, and they have to put it on a credit card or come to you and get a personal loan. And yeah, unfortunately, some people can be very stunned by
Yes, it can really leave you short. And
yeah.
we always suggest people have a buffer no matter what type of property they're buying. But I think with building, it's even more important, because you just don't know what's going to pop up, do you?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, some builders, I mean, majority of my builders offer turnkey, which means the driveway's done, the retaining's done, the fencing's done, the landscaping done. A lot of the big builders don't offer that. They may just offer the driveway, but you may be in an estate where they actually, it's a requirement that you have front landscaping done by 3 months of moving in. So you need to factor those in as well. You need to see what your estate requirements are. It all depends on how the house is built. The estate requirements may require, like there's one here in Newcastle, West Wallsend, where you have to have a big veranda out the front. So yeah, these things all have to be taken into consideration when you're looking at your build contract.
Yes, it's so important. There's so much to know, isn't there?
There is, and unfortunately, those that don't, and they think, oh, that's a great price, and I'm getting $60,000 off, but they're going to be hit during the build with your site costs, with your colour selections, or if something comes up in council for the approval of those plans, they'll, like another report's needed or extra basic items are needed, then that's going to be added. You are going to be charged extra for that. Yeah.
It's funny that you talk about the turnkey package, because I love those, because at least you know what everything's going to cost. I'll never forget, this is years ago now, but I had a lovely couple building down in Fern Bay in Newcastle, and they'd gone to a major builder at the time, and they talked them out of included doing the turnkey package. So they took out the driveway. I can't remember all the things that they took out, but they'd taken it out, and they thought that their extra costs were going to be about $20,000. Well, they ended up being $50,000, and they did have the money, but they had planned on using that money for a swimming pool down the track. Well, that swimming pool couldn't be put in because they'd used it all. So once those extras came out, the costs just blew right out. So I think if you are going to take things out of a contract, like your driveway and whatever else they try and talk you into taking out, you need to get firm quotes on those things.
Yeah, and it's the convenience of having turnkey too. I mean, it's all done. You don't have to worry about the tradies. You don't have to worry about the mud being, stomped through your house. So it is a good idea. A turnkey is great for those on a budget and for investors, I feel.
I totally agree with you. I think turnkey, if I was going to build again, I've only ever built twice. I would only ever go with turnkey. And if a builder didn't want to do that, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. We'll be building again. We've built 5 times. or go again in the next few years.
Oh, that's exciting.
Love
So
it.
just so I know you cover the Newcastle Port Stephens area. Do you cover the Gold Coast as well, or other
Yeah.
areas?
So with the tender health check, that can be Australia-wide. So
Okay.
sometimes people send me their build contract, their build tender, any information they've got from the builder, their plans, because sometimes with the plans too, this is a thing, make sure you read all the little bits of writing, because sometimes it can be very small writing saying retaining walls by owner. So that can be a big cost as well. You could be up for 5,000 to 10,000 with that. Yeah, so that can be Australia-wide with the tender health checks.
Oh, that's
As
great.
far as house and land packages go, I have builders up in Queensland as well with house and land packages, which is great for investors.
Fantastic. And so if they have a block of land and they've got a vague idea about what they want to do, they can come to you and you can sort of make some suggestions and builders.
That's right.
And yeah, fantastic.
I always, with my clients, see what the budget is, see what they actually want in the house, whether it is an investment or a first home or forever home, and then suggest, and then I go to my builders and just suggest to them, well, these would be the best builders to go with, this is the quote, and I'm with you all the way through. So I'll give you updates every 2 weeks on how.
That's great. It's so good to have that service because it is incredibly overwhelming. And I don't think I've ever had a client that has built that's said, oh, that was fabulous and nice and easy. There's always something that goes on.
I know it is. I mean, building is a journey, as I say.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared. I mean, because tradies are humans. You know, they do make mistakes, but I just sort of make it as possibly as stress-free as possible.
Yes, and I think the other thing is, even though it is a very overwhelming journey, at the end you've got a brand new property, and there is nothing better than having your own brand new home the way that you wanted it, the way you designed it. It's incredibly exciting for people. So, you know, everyone says, oh, it was worth it in the end.
In the end, I know. I mean, you've got the kitchen of your dreams, you've got your bathroom with the colours that you want, you know, you don't have the bright yellows or the bright greens of the old homes. Everything's exactly how you want it. So
yes, and you know, with a second-hand home, there is always something wrong. Like, you know, the house that I'm in at the moment, when we moved in, the office that I'm working in now, we've got a roof leak. It's like, oh no, there's always something with a second-hand home. But with a new home, you know, there is warranty, isn't there?
That's right. Yes. So you have a defects warranty, depends on the builder. So normally it's around 6 months. So that's if, you know, there's a scratch on the wall that you didn't see, or there's something missing, like a bit of grout in the tile or something. You put it all onto that one list and the builder comes there. Normally the builder will supply phone numbers or tradies, you know, if there's an urgent, you know, defect that needs to be fixed, like a running tap or something that can't be turned off. Yeah, so you've got that, you've got your maintenance period, and then you've got your 6-year warranty as well, structural warranty.
Okay, that's excellent to know. Is there anything else you think we haven't covered that people might want to know about building?
I think at the moment, I still think we've probably got about 12 months of, even though I say prices are sort of leveling out, I still think, you know, there might be a little bit of rise and fall going on. But I personally think the best way to have a home is to build. I think the excitement far outweighs all those little problems or worries that you may have. So, but just when you're talking to the salespeople and display homes, again, you need to, the final word is your contract. So you need to make sure that you've read that contract thoroughly. And if you need some help, I'm here with my tender health check.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's such a great service. All right. Well, thank you so much again. And we'll keep in touch, and I'll put this link up and get the word out.
Lovely. Okay.
Thank you. Great to see you.
Bye.
Bye.